Emmerdale's Graham Foster finally had to deal with the results of his choices when Rhona Goskirk uncovered that he had spent a night with Kim Tate. A devastated Rhona promised that from now on she would focus on her husband Marlon Dingle, but moving on from Graham may not be so simple. In the previous episode of the ITV drama, Graham asked Rhona to meet him at the footbridge so they could talk about what their future might look like. When she failed to appear, he sought comfort with his former wife Kim, and the two eventually ended up in bed together. What Graham didn't realize was that Rhona had actually intended to meet him, but got delayed because of her daughter Ivy. The next episode began with Graham noticing several missed calls from Rhona, after which he awkwardly told Kim that their night together had been a mistake. Kim calmly agreed, describing their encounter as a one-time moment that should never happen again, and the pair went their separate ways. However, she later admitted to Lydia Dingle that being close to Graham once more had felt completely natural. She explained that she wasn't suggesting they could simply continue where they had stopped, but when they were alone together, it almost seemed like they had never been apart. Kim also revealed that Graham had distanced himself after noticing Rhona's messages. She warned that if Graham believed he could use her and then walk away, he clearly didn't understand her at all. Meanwhile, Rhona later told Graham why she had missed their meeting at the bridge and proposed that they talk again during lunch instead. When Lydia spotted them chatting, she informed Rhona that Graham had slept with Kim and encouraged her to concentrate on her marriage. An angry Rhona then confronted Graham and firmly stated that she no longer wanted any connection with him. She accused him of misleading her and insisted that Marlon was the only person who mattered to her. "I honestly couldn't care less about you, Graham," she said. "Go and be with whoever you want, because it doesn't matter to me." Later on, although she admitted to Vanessa Woodfield that Graham's actions still bothered her, Rhona insisted she would now focus on building her perfect life with Marlon. The question remains, however, whether she can truly ignore the feelings she still has for her former lover. Emmerdale spoilers: police return for Bear as the situation becomes more serious. Paddy Kirk paid a visit to Beowulf in tonight's episode of Emmerdale, but he arrived with a surprising request. Bear has been staying in a mental health unit while trying to recover from the traumatic events he experienced on the farm. The situation affected him so deeply that he believed admitting himself for treatment was the best decision. Not long after Paddy returned home from leaving Bear at the facility, the discussion turned to the ongoing investigation into Ray Walters' murder. Paddy had previously prevented Bear from being arrested again by taking him to the unit, but DS Walsh later warned that once Bear is discharged, he will be taken straight back into custody. Mandy Dingle and Dylan Penders began to wonder if there could be another outcome. They suggested that if Bear remained in treatment long enough, the CPS might decide he is not mentally fit to stand trial and could drop the charges. This idea stayed on Paddy's mind as he went to visit Bear at the hospital. When he arrived, the former wrestler looked much better than he had just weeks earlier. Although Bear still had his familiar beard, his calmer behavior suggested the therapy was working. Bear told Paddy about his progress, but was confused when Paddy said the doctors must not realize how well he was improving. Paddy explained that if Bear were released, DS Walsh would quickly return and he would have to face a murder trial. However, Bear's clearer thinking allowed him to make his own decision. Determined not to run from the situation, he told Paddy he was ready to face whatever came next. Later that evening, Bear returned home, but the family reunion was brief. DS Walsh soon arrived to take him to the police station. While Paddy, Mandy and Dylan were devastated, Bear seemed ready for the fight ahead. The question now is whether he will manage to win this battle. Exclusive: Emmerdale's Sarah Sugden star talks baby storyline and motherhood hopes. Emmerdale actress Katie Hill, who plays Sarah Sugden, has opened up about her character's dramatic baby storyline and how it has made her think about becoming a mother in real life. The current storyline has shocked many viewers, and fans often stop Katie in the street to talk about it. In the plot, Sarah is expecting a baby, but the unusual twist is that her grandmother Charity Dingle is acting as a surrogate and carrying the child for her. When Katie first heard about the storyline, she thought it might make her less interested in having children herself. However, the 23-year-old actress says the opposite has happened, and it has actually made her even more excited about the idea of becoming a mum one day. Katie has played Sarah on the ITV soap since she was 14 years old. She says she has wanted to be a mother for as long as she can remember. As a child, she loved pretending to be a parent while playing games with friends at school. Since toys were not allowed in the playground, she would roll up a cardigan and pretend it was a baby while playing mums and dads. Even so, Katie knows that having a child at the age of 23 would be a big step. She currently lives with her boyfriend of 6 years and admits she would like to enjoy her youth for a little longer. She also jokes that her dad probably isn't ready to become a grandfather just yet. Sarah's character has already faced several serious health problems in Emmerdale. She previously battled childhood leukemia and later needed a heart transplant. Last year, she faced another devastating moment when she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. The illness led to an emergency hysterectomy, meaning Sarah could never carry a child herself. Wanting to help, her grandmother Charity offered to become a surrogate for Sarah and her husband Jacob. The baby is due next month, and Sarah has been excited about finally becoming a mother. However, the storyline took a dramatic twist when Charity secretly slept with Ross Barton while still married to Mackenzie Boyd. Things became even more complicated when a DNA test revealed Ross is actually the baby's father, not Jacob. Afraid the truth would destroy Sarah, Charity has continued hiding the secret. Katie says being involved in such a big storyline is an incredible experience. She describes it as a pinch-me moment to be part of one of the show's major plots. Her love for acting began at a very young age. She remembers always jumping in front of the camera whenever her mum was filming when she was a toddler. Katie later attended drama classes with her sister, and her parents supported her ambitions from the beginning. At 9, she joined the children's agency Scala Kids, and 5 years later, she was cast in Emmerdale. Her parents, who live near her in Leeds, are still among her biggest supporters and regularly watch her on the show. Katie also enjoys working with co-stars like Emma Atkins and Jeff Hordley, who plays Kane Dingle. She recently filmed emotional scenes where Kane confides in Sarah about his prostate cancer diagnosis. The actress says she feels lucky to be trusted with such powerful storylines. While she shares some of Sarah's caring personality, Katie laughs that she would never steal cars like her character. Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.